What I'm trying to do is build a business that not only supports me and my family, but can also support my friends' families as well. I've got to take steps almost daily to try and meet those goals to build the business that I want. So every day is centered around those actions and growing my business to that point. And this is why my business is set up in the way it is, in that I'm not doing as much pest control as I could be. So I could fill my diary up, go out and earn, I don't know, £700 to £1,000 a day, right, by filling my diary entirely. The problem with that is I then don't have any time to grow the business in an aspect of looking for more clients, building relationships with my current client base, ideas, thoughts about where I want the business to go, doing all the kind of important stuff that you really don't want to do, but you have to, like tax and looking for different ways that you can make the business more efficient. So what I'm suggesting, what I reckon we do is remove the poison from beneath the deck so that it's safe for the builders to do the patio. No, which is good. Getting it out is going to be the challenge now. So that's that out. We'll leave that there just in case we need to mark it. Pays attention to it because you don't want the risk of secondary poisoning.
We tried to use retail methods to terminate them, but to no avail, unfortunately, so we called in Pestforce.
And how would you rate him technically in terms of his skills?
Technically about 11 out of 10, yeah, and I never give more than a 9 normally, so yeah, really impressed. The communication on the day, his attitude to listening to us, to understanding what our objectives were, fantastic.
I'm hoping that when we send the review link to the customer, they'll give us a 5-star review, because that 5-star review might get us another rat job, it might get us a squirrel job or whatever, and how that will benefit the business. So we're going into the city centre to one of our commercial customers to deal with an infestation, or an issue rather, of ants, and then if so, we'll put measures in place. So if we could take that off, we could, or we could hide one under there. But again, the risk is, because it's food, we draw them towards the actual food making area. What do you think? Spot on. I can do some free baiting down in the corner here. So we try to limit their activity moving into the shop. Perfect. Okay, I'm just going to have a quick look outside as well. Yeah. So you see them there? They seem to be going under the wooden frame. So I think the best thing to do would be to use an appropriate insecticide, not for use on soil, lawns or flower beds. So as long as you're sticking to that and the situation falls within that and the species that you're dealing with, then you know you've got the right insecticide. How you doing? Just going to quickly they just want to do a piece here, and then we'll go and have a look.
Yeah, there's no
Nothing at all.
very limited, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
It's going to be a case of going back to the customer.
Yeah, we're going to have to, I think.
I believe they said it's because it's sort of condemned down there, it's not in use, so it's not safe to access.
Probably it all vaults and the sewerage is down there, but there's no access to it.
That's frustrating, isn't it? So the difficulty we've got here is that we can't get access to the places that we need to. in order to carry out an effective treatment. So what we're doing is, I've joined Don purely to get an understanding of what issues we're going to come up against, so that when we're asked the question by the customer, we can give them answers. We've asked them if we can have access to the areas that we want to get to. They've said no. We need to try and emphasise to them the importance of getting into those areas in order to carry out an efficient treatment for them. But either way, we can't do our job without a little bit of assistance from the customer.
Yeah.
So I'm happy you've done what you can here, Don.
Yeah.
Book in the third visit anyway, manage the treatment as we would do normally, make contact with the customer, and do what you do best.
External rat job. Customer had sort of quite extensive burrowing coming up in from below ground in his lawn. It looks like it's connected to sewerage, where there's like some old redundant pipe work, or they're managing to get out of the sewer system. As you can see, there's these very deep burrows here. There's one here, one here. I've got them covered over, predominantly covered over, just because of the risk of the dog access, and we do use a sort of lower toxicity bait. So on the initial visit, I baited these. Came back last week, and there'd been sort of full consumption of all of the rodenticide. As you can see, none of it's been taken this week since last week, which would suggest that the infestation's now clear. For a rat, it only takes sort of a few grams to kill it. It may have more than that, because of the rodenticide used takes sort of 3 to 5 days to kill them. They don't suffer for that time. They only sort of feel ill effect, close to sort of death. The current infestation is gone. If the recommendations aren't followed and it is linked to sewage, there is quite a high possibility that they'll get a reinfestation. So we always advise to follow recommendations quite sort of swiftly, as opposed to sort of leaving it too long and getting a reinfestation. It's just one of the routine management visits. We have the contract at this hospital. We come sort of once a week on average. It's sort of basically maintenance, just to keep on top of everything. If there are any sort of issues, we'll respond to those. They're sort of emailed via a central system to myself and Ash, and we'll sort of respond accordingly as to what the issue is.
So we've just got back, so now I'll spend the afternoon doing some admin. Don's going to finish his jobs for the afternoon and go from there. When I first planned starting this business, I kind of looked at all the figures and things, and it was a case of, well, that's a lot of money. Spoke to family and things, and one of the big ones is marketing, and that was generating a lot of return. So you do have to kind of look at the opportunity in the mindset of the fact that your business is going to grow. That's what I'd say is make sure you're looking at it from the right point of view. Don't let the figures scare you off. Come up with a plan and just get on with it.